Here's something most people don't realize. Getting rich doesn't actually feel the way you think it does. It's not obvious. It's not flashy. And most of the time, it doesn't look impressive at all. In fact, a lot of people who are genuinely building wealth right now feel like they're doing nothing. And that's where the confusion starts. Because when you look at the real patterns, you realize something surprising. You can be making serious financial progress and not feel it at all. So in this video, we're going to break down 8 signs that you're secretly getting rich, even if your bank account doesn't look exciting yet. I break this stuff down in a way that actually makes sense, not in a complicated way, not with big confusing terms, and definitely not in a way that makes you feel like you're already behind. Just simple, clear ideas you can actually use. Because at the end of the day, building wealth isn't about knowing everything. It's about understanding the few things that actually matter and sticking to them. So if that's the kind of content you've been looking for, go ahead and hit subscribe. Because every video here is designed to help you think better, move smarter, and actually make progress with your money. All right, let's start with something simple but extremely powerful. There are 2 friends, Peter and Daniel. They grew up together. Same school, same environment, same opportunities on the surface. But their lives were very different. Daniel came from a rich family. Money was never a problem. Nice cars, expensive clothes, vacations, everything always looked perfect. Peter, on the other hand, came from a low-income background. Nothing fancy. No big displays of wealth. From the outside, his life looked average. And if you saw both of them today, you'd probably think the same thing most people would think. Daniel is ahead, and Peter is behind. But here's where the story starts to shift. Because what you don't see is what actually matters. Daniel's family spends money. A lot of it. Every time money comes in, it goes out. Bigger house, better car, more lifestyle. Everything looks good, but nothing is really growing. Peter's family is different. They don't look rich. But behind the scenes, they're building. They're saving. They're investing. They're thinking long-term. They're putting money into things like the S&P 500 quietly, consistently. No noise, no attention, just progress. Now here's the interesting part. If you ask both of them how they feel about money, Daniel feels ahead, Peter feels behind. And that right there is the illusion, because getting rich doesn't feel the way you think it does. So let's break this down. Because when you really understand the story, you start to see the signs. Signs that you might actually be building wealth, even if it doesn't feel like it yet. Peter always feels like he's not doing enough. He sees people like Daniel spending freely, enjoying life, and it makes him question himself. But what he doesn't realize is this. Looking rich and being rich are not the same thing. Daniel has the appearance. Peter is building the foundation, and foundations don't look impressive until the building is complete. Every time Daniel gets money, it turns into something temporary. Clothes, gadgets, experiences. Nothing wrong with that, but it doesn't grow. Peter does something different. A portion of his money goes into assets, things that can grow over time. And that one habit changes everything. Daniel enjoys everything now. Peter sacrifices now. So, naturally, Daniel feels ahead. But wealth is built in delay. It's built in choosing long-term gain over short-term comfort. And that never feels exciting in the moment. If Daniel buys a new car, everyone sees it. If Peter invests money, nobody sees anything. That's the difference. One is visible. The other is powerful. Because real wealth grows quietly. And if your progress feels invisible, that's usually a good sign. Daniel sees money as something to spend. Peter sees money as something to multiply. That shift is everything. Because once you start thinking in terms of growth instead of consumption, you stop playing the same game as everyone else. Daniel reacts to money. Peter has a system. He saves consistently, invests consistently, thinks consistently. And even when the results aren't obvious, the habits are working in the background. That's how wealth is built. Not in big moments, but in repeated actions. This is where most people quit. Because Peter's progress feels slow. Sometimes it even feels like nothing is happening. But that's how it works. In the beginning, growth is almost invisible. then over time, it accelerates. And the people who stay consistent are the ones who benefit from it. Years go by. Daniel still looks rich. Peter still looks normal. But something has changed. Peter's investments have grown. His habits are stronger. His foundation is solid. And now, the gap starts to close. Then eventually, it flips. Quietly. Gradually. Then all at once. And this is the part most people never see, because they were too focused on how things looked in the beginning. So if you feel like Peter right now, like you're not doing enough, like you're behind, like your progress isn't visible, you need to understand something. You might actually be on the right path, because most people who look like Daniel aren't building anything, and most people who are building something look like Peter in the early stages. That's the reality. And once you see it, you stop comparing the wrong things. So don't judge your progress by appearances. Don't measure your growth by what's visible. Focus on what's actually being built. Because if you're saving, investing, thinking long term, you're not behind. You're early. And early always feels like nothing is happening. Until one day, it feels like everything is. So now I want to ask you, are you more like Peter or Daniel right now? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to keep building real wealth the right way, stick around. Because in the next video, I'm going to break down exactly how to turn small investments into something massive over time. I'll see you there.